Here's 3 signs that your training is off by at least 80%. And I'm going to show you several moves that all tie together into a really cool training session that'll help to illustrate the concepts that I'm talking about today. My name is Weiland. I'm the co-founder of Pacific Rim Athletics and the creator of Powerbatics. And that's the umbrella term that we use for all of body weight strength for things like hand balancing, ninja strength, power moves, circ and free running. And that's for kids, teens, and adults all the way up to their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, who are accomplishing some really incredible things and overcoming all kinds of past injuries, and people are at all kinds of different levels and have all sorts of different backgrounds. Now, big disclaimer, I'm gonna be showing you some really ninja level stuff today, so you gotta promise me no falls, flops, or face plants, all right? And whenever you realize that this is the training for you, then please get into coaching and instruction, and don't mistake coaching and instruction for just videos and media. I don't know why people are not talking about this. People think that they need resistance training, weightlifting, that's sort of the industry standard. You know I don't like those. If you watch this channel, you know I don't like the word fitness. I prefer physical and mental training, but the fitness industry is all about the resistance training and the weightlifting and the strength and all that kind of stuff. They have all of these different protocols. There's a whole field of exercise science. Now, all of that is fine. Strength training is fantastic, and we need that. Resistance training, everything from weightlifting, powerlifting, even sprinting builds muscle. Did you know that? Every time your foot strikes the ground, it's several hundred pounds of force. You can build a lot of muscle with just sprinting. And then body weight strength and skill. Like imagine a handstand push-up. Building up, of course, you don't jump into handstand push-ups, but imagine building up through 10, 20 different progressions until you've got the upper body strength to be able to do a freestanding handstand push-up. That's like doing a barbell press with your whole body loaded up on the weight, okay? For me, that'd be like 185 pounds just doing handstand push-ups. That's not the problem. The problem is this, and a lot of people either don't realize it, or they're not talking about it, or they haven't figured out the way to connect the two together. But here's the issue. You can actually build strength and you could build muscle relatively quickly. That's a good thing, right? It's not really a problem at all. It's just how the body works. It develops in 90-day cycles, okay? And so you could build a lot of strength and a lot of muscle within a short period of time. The problem is the fact that connective tissue strength and flexibility takes a much longer period of time. We're talking up to 6-month cycles. So not just 6 months and you're gonna have a full split or a bridge and a walkover, but 6-month cycles to see significant amounts of difference. It's why healing from a tear or a major injury takes so long. It could take 6 months all the way up to 18 months or 2 years. So here's the issue, and here's the sign that your training is off by 80, 85, 90% is training for strength. If you're doing strength training, you are putting yourself right in the injury zone. Okay, this is the reason. The strength is outpacing the flexibility and the connective tissue strength, which takes time to develop. So it doesn't matter if you're doing low reps and high weight, or if you're doing high volume and low weight, or something in the middle, or some sort of hybrid thing with a bunch of cardio and everything else thrown in. If it's strength training without simultaneous flexibility, it's gonna put you in the injury zone. So what we wanna do is we wanna build up to these higher levels of flexibility while stacking on strength periodically as we do that. And whenever we get our mind into that manner of thinking, it completely changes the way that you train. And one of the ways that we train is towards specific skills, because a skill is a combination of strength, flexibility, and in some cases, if it's not a slow skill, you're adding speed, which creates larger forces, and that's where power comes in, and then that all wraps together into a skill. So one good example of this, one of our students, Che, she's in her late 40s. She came from a CrossFit background and doing all kinds of stuff. And one of the things that we worked on was opening up the shoulders so that she could build a handstand. She got a press handstand within 2 or 3 months, something like that. But the shoulders were so tight, chronic injuries. Some of you guys probably are dealing with tight shoulders, elbows, wrists, ankles, knees, back, hips, everything, all right? In some cases, everything is tight because there's absolutely no flexibility. And some people think that they're flexible when they're really not, or they're overly flexible and they don't have the strength. So it's a mix, it's a blend of the two. This is not the cliche, oh, we need to work on flexibility. No, this is simultaneously building strength and flexibility together into a skill. And so Che got a lot of progress, and she built up to a press handstand by working on the bridge. And the bridge helped to mobilize her shoulders. We had to put in place some other protocols and stuff because it was becoming kind of a chronic thing. And so we have to take care of the joints over the long term. And that's the whole point of this kind of training, is building it into the long-term lifestyle of training. You're not too old. I guarantee you, you're not too old. Like I said at the beginning of the video, 40s, 50s, 60s. Our oldest has been like 83 or 84 years old or something like that. And there's gonna be all kinds of different skill levels within there, okay? So here's a skill that I'm talking about, all right? And it's something that you're probably not gonna see in a mainstream gym. We call this the leg iron cross. So if we have our legs out like this and then we're sliding down, we wanna be able to have the flexibility, the control, all of these pieces working together simultaneously to be able to hold ourselves at a good range of motion with the strength involved. Now there's a lot of strength, and I would venture to say that being able to build a skill like that, and that was a slow skill, that wasn't quick, but we could do flips and stuff and kicks and everything and land in the splits and then bounce back up, and so that would be a high speed skill. But being able to build a skill like that, I would say, is far superior than building even a heavy squat. And a lot of people would probably disagree with me. I don't care, because we are building strength and skill that's sustainable for life, and that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. Those huge lifts and those kind of things that keep you from being able to twist and move quickly and have all of this spring in your step and all of those kind of things. The flexibility, the mobility, that is more important. That is ideal. I'd venture to say that's how we're designed by God to be able to move with strength, speed, and power. And it's accomplished through just mastering our own body with skills that combine the strength and flexibility. And that is the first one, the leg iron cross. So here's the second sign. This mistake is actually costing you at least $26,000 every couple years, up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now let me break down some of the numbers so that you understand what I'm talking about, and it's not just crazy talk, okay? So let's just take the average salary that somebody would earn, hourly wage, okay? 30, 40, 50 bucks an hour, something like that, for like just a good, general career. Other people's time is far more expensive, thousands of dollars an hour for consulting up there, but we'll just stick with kind of an average cost hourly wage, okay? So let's say that a person is doing DIY training. Let's say that you're just training by yourself, all right? For every hour that you spend, just attach that monetary value to it, okay? Because your time is valuable. Your time has worth. You are designed and you have intrinsic value and worth. And so your time has that value attached to it. And so let's imagine that you're training an hour a day, 5 days a week. That adds up over time. And I did the math on this, and it's something like $8,000, $9,000 a year if you're training pretty much daily like that. And then you multiply that across a couple of years, that gets up into tens of thousands of dollars. So over 3 years' time, that's $26,000. So over the last 3 years of working out and training, do you have $26,000 worth of results? All right, so that's number one. Number two is the fact that whenever people mess up and they're doing it on their own, building bad habits and stuff, they are setting themselves up sometimes for injury, and those injuries can be extremely expensive. Even with insurance deductibles, okay, those get up into thousands of dollars. And then if it's out of pocket or you're spending over a long period of time, it could be, again, tens of thousands of dollars, plus all the time. The time is the most valuable thing, and you can't get that back. We can make more trees, or people can mine more Bitcoin or whatever they're doing, but you can't get that time back, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, and then going even a little deeper on this. Imagine that you had somebody that was training you. Let's say that you spent $50,000 a year on a trainer that came and they invested an hour a day in you over a year, 2 years, 3 years time, okay? Let's just say 1 year. How much progress would you have within 1 year of investing $50,000 for someone to come and train you every day for an hour a day? Well, I'm going to tell you something crazy, but it's not that crazy. You've actually done this, and you've done it for at least 12 years of your life. Whether you wanted to or not, tax money was taken out of your wallet, out of your bank account, and the government institution of public school selected someone and placed that person with you to train you for an hour a day, every day, for every year that you were at school, 12 years in most people's cases. And so here's the crazy thought. Of all of that time, why don't we have everybody? It should be the opposite. Instead of 80% of people having back pain and being overweight, why aren't 80% of people elite level athletes, you know? And you don't have to be competitive or anything, but why isn't everybody walking around able to move like a ninja? You know what I'm saying? So there's a big philosophical mindset shift in terms of how we're thinking about our training. And that's one of the biggest pieces that I want to communicate whenever I'm creating content, making videos, teaching my students. It's not about, I listen to sometimes, very infrequently, I'll go check out things. And I've read books in the past and I've listened to videos in the past, and people get so caught up in all of the numbers and all of the technical details of the training. And there's a time and place for that, and we'll get into those things. But man, 80 to 90% of it is the mindset and your own philosophical approach, your athletosophy, if you will, your approach in terms of what you are thinking about, what your belief structure is, that's gonna determine where you are, if you're weak or if you're strong, if you're skilled or if you're unskilled, if you're able to move like you want and like a ninja and have that sustainability long term, or if you're not, okay? So the move that I wanna show you cycles back to the first point with the combination of strength and flexibility. And I want to show you how this mindset shift comes into play whenever we're training. And again, a lot of these things you're not going to see in mainstream gyms. It just doesn't occur there. So this one is holding onto a bar, and we're using the core and the grip and the shoulder flexibility. And like I've heard, people have torn shoulders just from hanging onto the bar, okay? So we want the body to function as a whole unit, all right? And now you might have heard of this movement before, but I'm gonna describe it in a little bit more depth for you today. And again, this is helping to illustrate the mindset shift that I'm talking about. But we're just going through, and the compression strength of being able to bring the feet through and under the bar without them touching, without crossing the feet like this, just bringing them through and over and down and then coming back through. And this is all core compression strength, shoulders, lats, forearms, grip, everything. But most important, the mindset and how we're approaching the training, having the patience, the discipline, and the courage to step outside of the mainstream, the courage to get outside of what everybody else is just kind of like shoveling your way. So far we've got the leg iron cross, we've got the skin the cat, so that's legs and that's hips, hamstrings and all. And then for skin the cat, core, hanging strength, shoulder mobility, biceps, lats, forearms, all of it. All right, so this one's a really fun one. This is one of my favorites. This is actually a secret that a lot of people are gonna get mad at me about talking about, and a lot of people don't want me, they don't want me sharing this. But there's 3 institutions that want you to stay weak and sick and slow, okay? And they are promulgating a lot of the things that we have in terms of education for all subject matter, including how we take care of ourselves and how we train and our strength and our skill and our ability to move, all right? They want us restricted and not able to move. Humans are designed to move just like everything else on this earth, and we should be able to move with strength and skill and sustainability. One of these institutions is the child indoctrination centers, like we talked about, with PE and a lot of things invested into those, and especially like nutrition, like think about what's being served and all of that. But that is a place where people are being trained to think and move in certain ways. And by move, I mean sit in a chair for multiple hours a day. And then the training is, you know, the training is what it is, and I'm sure that you can understand what I'm talking about. So that's a big one, all right? Then there's big medical, okay? And this is where, are they really having your best interest in mind? Okay, all of the medicines, you know, that I'm not saying anything new here. Everything that people are hooked on, everything people are abusing, every which way that they're not being trained, they're guided and restrained by insurance. And all of that is all really at its core is fear driven. It's all the what ifs. What if such and such happens? You have to have insurance and benefits, blah, 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 blah. All these things about what if. No, just be in the now. And whenever something arises, you will be able to handle it. You will be able to, because we exist in the now and we have access to other people and we have ways and means of taking care of what we need to take care of. And so all of these things come into place to try to act like they're supporting you, but it's really just a way to keep you where you are and to keep you needing and dependent on the resources they're saying that they're providing. And it is just this cycle. It's not really transforming people in the way that it should be. And like I said about the schools, you know, if there's a trainer that's coming in there full-time, paid so much money to come in and work with all these kids, there should be a nation and a world of high-level athletes. And the same thing with medical. If it is actually doing what it's supposed to be doing, then it should be just pumping out ninjas every day, but it's not. And then the third one is like a combination of the two. It's like if public school is McDonald's and Big Med is Burger King, then Big Fitness is Wendy's. All right, it's Wendy is dressed up in compression socks and selling supplements and Photoshop pictures of fake physiques. So anyway, fitness is really kind of like, it's trying to help people in some ways. There's good people that are part of the industry that are helping people to get stronger and get healthier and fix injuries and do what needs to be done. But like I say, like 80–90% of things are really not doing that. They're doing the exact opposite, selling cookie cutter programs, selling powders and pills and all of these things that don't do anything, selling gimmicky equipment. Like when you look around our facility, you know, and what I show in the videos, it's the floor. Like I'm gonna do some things on some bars right here. You could have 2 tables, 2 chairs put together. You know, you hang from a bar, something to hang from and floor space, and that's it. And we'll use boxes and stuff and mats for some more advanced training on skills. But you don't need any of the gimmicks, gadgets, or gurus. You do need coaching, and I'm not pitching anything right now. I mean, if people are a good match for our training, perfect. If not, oh well. But it's not about any of those gizmos, gadgets, or gurus. It's about you, your uniqueness, your training, your body, your mind, and coaching and community just comes in to support that and to take away the trial and error. That's really all there is to it. And so for this move, a lot of people know about doing dips, but few people know about the Russian dips. And then again, this is just another example for how strength and flexibility are combined. So if I'm in position here and I come down, this is like a regular dip. And then leaning back onto the elbows puts us into a position where whenever we go back to press back up, we're in a very, very extreme shoulder angle and then pressing back up. And that shouldn't be impossible, okay? These are just basics of strength, the way the body is designed to move. But if you're not moving in the way that it's designed to move, then it's gonna keep breaking down further and further and further into where it's difficult just to do dumbbell presses and things like that. But ultimately, you want to be able to train with strength and flexibility both in mind, develop the skills, and then look at that. Imagine you did just these 3 exercises: leg iron cross, skin the cat, and Russian dips. For, you know, what we do is 5 rounds of strength, and the reps are dependent on you. The progressions are dependent on people's uniqueness. But imagine taking those 3, just those 3. Number 1, being able to do them, and then putting them into a circuit of training. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Strength is just a 10 or 15 minute block of time. Our warm-up is 10 minutes. Then we go into a strength section, and that's foundational for everything else, which includes the flexibility and mobility, and there's even skills laced through all of it. And then going into the skills development, which changes the entire ball game. And then you start adding those skills together into combos. We call them dyna combos, and then katas, which are required for each level of Powerbatics. And then you're into a whole new universe. And again, like I said, this is kids, teens, adults training this way, and using strength circuits like I just showed here with some of these kinds of exercises. So what can you do now? Well, obviously it's free to subscribe. It's also free to opt in. Here's what happens whenever you opt in. There's links and stuff that you can use. But whenever you do that, there's gonna be a number of things. There's gonna be free email trainings. I like to write a lot, and so I publish through email a lot of the trainings. And there'll be motivation and inspiration and stuff. But I know that there's a lot of media out there, and so I really wanted to take a moment to emphasize this on our videos, the fact that we're publishing things that you can read. Maybe I'll make a book in the future, I don't know. But you can opt in and you can get the resources to be able to read and have that come straight to you without distraction. And I think that's extremely important in today's culture with everything being so passive, just taking in audio, taking in video, passive. It's active to read, just like it's active to physically train, okay? They're part of the same aspect of being human, and so you can get those. And then there are videos that we'll send you. There's secret subscriber videos that we'll send to you. You'll be able to connect with me and my team as well. There's the possibility of enrolling if you do want to go down that route, which I do recommend to people that have been training, that are feeling stuck. If you're tight, you know what I'm saying? If there's past injuries, chronic things going on, it's just the way to constantly level up, constantly make progress. And we do have a system of levels, which is really cool. And whenever someone gets to level 10, we give them a samurai sword. And it's not like really anything that you've seen before. And I have a martial arts background, and what has occurred with the traditional martial arts over the past 2 or 3 decades, unfortunately, there's been this degradation where a black belt is almost meaningless at this point. But in our world of training with skills, either you can do the skill or you can't. And it's very, very obvious. Press handstands, muscle ups, human flags, flares, flips, and that takes all of that focus and energy and time. And I mean, you're transforming your life whenever you train that way. And so it's very obvious. It's very cool to see whenever people get to that level. And we've got people advancing through the levels every single day, okay? They're leveling up 1 to 2 to 3 in different elements. And then we've got about 8 or 9 people who are level 10 and have gotten the samurai sword, or for ninja strength, it's a battle axe. But cool stuff like that, and it's clearly demonstrable in terms of the strength and skill that you're acquiring, which is, like I said, a whole different ball game. It's a whole different universe of training. So thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next video and in training soon.